This is part two in my behind the scenes series of the Cochise Mod Shop. The project we're working on is the Squire Paranormal Jazzmaster 12-string electric. I've completed the evaluation of the guitar for playability, and I've also had the opportunity to use the electronics to see exactly what's going on with the pickups and the controls. Upon playing the guitar and inspecting it, the bridge saddles were extremely high. Of course, these guitars aren't really set up at the factory, so they all have to go through a major setup. But the saddles were so high, it seems that what needs to happen is the neck needs to be shimmed at least 0.25 degrees. Well, a little known fact is Leo Fender actually was not a musician. He was an engineer, and he designed these guitars in the way an engineer would. We're very practical, and all of the Fender Strats and Tellys and Jazzmasters and Jaguars from the 50s through the 60s, they all had to be set up in a certain way, and majority of them had to be shimmed as far as the neck angle was concerned. So you increase the neck angle so that you don't have to have the bridge saddle so high, and a little bit better playability up and down the neck. So we'll definitely have to shim this neck on this guitar. Right now what I'm doing is removing the covers from the pickups, and I'm removing the pick guard from the guitar. This gives me the opportunity not only to evaluate the pickups in the guitar, but also to look at the electronics and see what kind of an installation Fender did on the guitar. Once again, these are single coil pickups. I know they look huge like a humbucker, but they actually are single coil pickups. Unlike a Strat pickup, which has a lot of windings that are stacked vertically, these are actually stacked in a horizontal manner. So you get a wider field, magnetic field, and the tonality is completely different from a single coil that you would find in a Stratocaster or a Telecaster. Now what we'll do first is we'll measure the resistance of the pickups, and we'll look at the ohms and see exactly what kind of output each pickup has. The bridge pickup seems to have a 10.53, and the neck pickup is 6.58. And comparing that to my Curtis Novak pickups that are in my Jazzmaster, the neck has a 6.62 and the bridge has the 11.47. These are very much overwound hot pickups with a combination at 4.19, with all controls being zeroed out. So looking at this guitar, you can kind of see that these pickups actually are high output pickups, which is great because definitely when the bridge position, you're not going to get a whole lot of string movement that close to the bridge. So you need a strong pickup to be able to pick up the vibrations of the strings. Looking at the windings and comparing them, you can see where the bridge pickup has almost double the windings of wire than the neck pickup, and that's why the output is so high. Now that we have evaluated the pickups of the guitar, I need to take a closer look at the electronics, because the way these pickups are wound, the tonality should be a lot clearer and more vibrant than they are, and I think the culprit is going to be the electronics that have been installed. As you can see, the pick guard is basically not shielded. They have a little foil under the controls, but that's not doing much other than grounding the controls to the output jack. We have a 3-way toggle switch. We have a 500K pot for our volume control, and a 250K tone control with a very small mica capacitor on it. The output jack is very, very cheaply made, and I guarantee you it's going to fail with continued use. So we're not going to use that. As a matter of fact, I've come to the conclusion we aren't going to use any of these electronics to finish this guitar. What I'm going to do is install high quality components. We're going to start off with a .047 capacitors, orange drop, Switchcraft 3-way toggle. I'm using a Burns 500K volume control with a push-pull switch, which we'll get into a little bit later what I'm doing with that. As far as the tone control, we'll use a CTS 250K audio taper pot and a pure tone output jack with 4-point connections. In addition, from Tone Shaper, we'll be using their treble bleed circuit so that when you reduce the volume of the guitar, you don't lose any of the brightness or tonality. I think this will give us the best chance to bring some life to the guitar. And I think I can use these pickups that Fender has installed from the factory and hopefully save my customer a ton of money, and instead of spending an extra $500 on pickups. The push-pull pot, even though these are single coil pickups, everybody asks me, why are you using a push-pull pot? It's not a humbucker. You're not splitting the coils or tapping the coils. No, I'm not. As most of the early Fenders in the 60s, especially the Jaguars, and some of the late 60s guitars like the Mustang, they had the capability of putting the pickups out of phase. And it's a great sound that a lot of people don't use anymore, but I like to give my customers the option of having that. So we'll be doing a phase switch on the volume control with this push-pull Burns 500K pot. So make sure you stay tuned to the next episode, which in part 3 we'll be wiring all of this up and installing into the guitar, and in addition to that, shielding the cavity where the pickups and the controls go. Once again, this is behind the scenes look at the Cochise Mod Shop's modification of the Squire Paranormal Jazzmaster XII.